You ask me, young friends, if Nero was indeed mad, fiddling as Rome turned to ash, or if something deeper and darker moved his hand. Here, then, a truth older than any emperor, that men often mistake recklessness for freedom and ruin for liberation. Nero was no mere fool. He was a gambler on the grandest stage, wagering Rome itself against the chains he thought bound it. Yet chains, I tell you, can hold together a body as well as bind it, and when Nero severed those cords, he loosed not freedom but chaos. Consider first Augustus, architect of the empire. Augustus knew power lived not in gold nor in steel alone, but in the invisible threads of memory. Ledgers of census, rolls of taxation, parchments of justice. He knit the empire together with roads and granaries, yes, but behind every road stretched a line of clerks. Behind every granary stood a meticulous scribe. Peace he gave, but peace purchased at the cost of quiet submission, and stability resting upon a web of parchment. Citizens rejoiced in their prosperity, scarcely seeing that their safety depended not on swords, but on scrolls. Yet beneath that quiet prosperity, resentment grew steadily. Tiberius, Augustus's successor, turned quiet governance to hidden terror, breeding suspicion and dread. Caligula mocked public trust, scattering Rome's wealth in wild spectacles of contempt, twisting welfare to humiliation. Claudius, earnest yet blind, buried the empire under a labyrinth of contradictory decrees until no Roman could comprehend the workings of his state. Suspicion begot contempt, contempt begot confusion, and confusion, hatred, and thus, slowly, subtly, invisibly, the bond between citizens and empire weakened, until Romans no longer saw their names in census books as signs of belonging, but as marks of bondage. And now came Nero, young and proud, who found his empire no longer beloved but despised. Citizens cursed not only him, but every scribe, every ledger, every decree. The machinery Augustus built now strangled Rome, its once proud arteries turned to shackles, and so Nero, whether through arrogance, desperation, or perhaps a terrible clarity, chose fire. If the empire was hated for its records, he reasoned, why not burn away its memory entirely? Why not free Romans by freeing them from Rome itself? Thus, flames leapt skyward, devouring tax offices, judicial archives, and census scrolls alike. Citizens, at first fearful, then emboldened, cheered to see their hated burdens vanish in smoke. "We are free," they cried. Yet freedom, my young friends, lasts only as long as bread, trust, and order last. Without those records, taxes went unpaid, soldiers unprovisioned, disputes unresolved. Hunger prowled the streets, violence flared unchecked, and Rome learned bitterly that freedom without order is merely anarchy wrapped in dreams. Yet did Romans blame themselves? No, for the pride of men prefers scapegoats to mirrors. Christians, strangers among us, were accused of setting fire to Rome's heart. Nero fed these innocents to lions and flames, seeking to reforge civic unity in the crucible of cruelty. But cruelty, too, binds only briefly. Nero found that a populace whose trust he had shattered could not be regained by violence alone. He reached for Rome and held only ashes. Thus Nero, who wished to free Rome by destroying her records, destroyed instead the soul of civic trust itself. Listen closely then, my young friends, and learn this lesson deeply. Institutions like men are flawed yet vital. Tear them down recklessly and you unravel the very fabric that sustains your lives. Hate corruption, fight injustice, but beware the blind fury that burns away memory, order, and trust together. Rome fell not because Nero was mad, but because Romans forgot that behind hated parchment lay the quiet sinews of civilization itself. Take heed, lest you in your age make Nero's error anew, and cheering the flames, watch helplessly as your world dissolves into ruin.